is longer than the night. When the shadows feel like giants, are you chasing me down? Tell me, where could I run from your light? Where could I hide? And within your precious thoughts, there's no hiding from your love. Highs and lows, Lord, you're with me either way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Even so, Lord, your mercy is an even flow. You're too good to let me go. Should I dance on the heights or make my bed among the dead? Your mercy waits at every end, like you planned it from the start. Should the dawn come with wings or find me far side of the sea, there your hand still fastens me, ever closer to your heart. Oh, highs and lows, Lord, you're with me the way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Even so, Lord, your mercy is an even flow. Should I rise or should I fall? You are faithful through it all. You're too good to let me go.
conversation. October 12th, 2023 with Donna. More water? A cookie? Okay. You mean like the low carb? Mm-hmm. So what are your first memories about us?
I literally knocked you off your feet.
That's your memory? Really?
I was sitting in a bigger FSU and plastic library.
Wait. Hold, wait.
I was sitting in a plastic library and you were sitting rocking on a chair with your feet up on the table.
My feet on the table? Come on, is that what I was doing? Huh?
Around the table legs.
What?
And you made a sarcastic comment about what I was talking about, and I knocked you off your feet. I did the chair up from my...
Wait a minute. So, I know it started in the plastics library, and I know that. So, this is what I can't remember what the conversation or what the event that took place. They gave me a first impression of you, but I kind of remember tipping my chair back now that you mention it, but I don't remember. Well, what did you do? Like, I didn't fall down from you doing that, did it?
Yeah.
Well, why did you do that?
You insulted me or something.
Right, based on what?
And
Like, you said
I
something.
was
That's what I remember. You said something, and then I protested somehow. What did you say? Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
Neither do I. It was obviously something that wasn't that important, but it was important enough at the time, I suppose.
It was important enough at the time, and I was gonna stick up for myself. And you learned the hard way.
I learned the hard. Now wait a minute. So let me get this clear. I was tipping back on my chair, like not like 45 degrees or something like that, a little bit, or what?
A lot, yeah, 45 degrees.
Okay, and then what? You came behind me and like kicked the chair?
I let her continue on. I helped the chair to continue on. It wasn't difficult.
And I didn't see that coming?
No.
Good God. Huh.
I think I did it with maybe my foot.
As you were happening to stroll by.
Without ever getting up. It was on the big table. And I was able to stretch out my foot and help you along.
Help it along the way.
Mhm.
I wish I could remember that conversation, because I remember that whole event, and that was actually going to be, if I was able to do like a eulogy, it was going to be um, in part based on how we met, and how we met was in the library, and I would never forget it. Obviously, you didn't forget it, and that was a whole turning point on how we met, and because
What was unusual was the teacher of my lab put us together.
well, I know that was going to be the second part of the story, was he put us, and you know, remember why he put us together? Really? You don't remember why? It's because your lab partner somehow mysteriously like didn't show up that
Oh.
particular week. And so, and I don't, and now the other part of it is like, how come I didn't have a lab partner? I don't even remember that at all. Somehow I didn't have a lab partner and you didn't have a lab partner, and he paired us up. So explain that, right? That's crazy.
That's God's hand at work.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's part of the story of how we got together, and I was planning if I was even capable of talking, like during, like at a eulogy, and I wanted to because, I mean, you know, for the past 2 years going to church.
God brought us together and let nothing take us apart
Yep. But
again.
he that was part of the story that I wanted to tell, was how we got together, because if I were capable of doing a eulogy, I would want people to know, and this is the Holy Spirit that told me this. I struggled at going to church. Like, what am I going to tell people? And the Holy Spirit told me, well, tell them three things. Tell them what happened to her as we know it, clinically, and then tell them, because the people would want to know, those people that don't know, like, what happened. And then maybe tell them a story about how you got together, and then tell them about family. And that didn't come from me. That came from the Holy Spirit. So it's so funny, because that is what I remember, and you remember the same thing, except for we can't remember the minute details of, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, what was it? Because the thing that came to my mind was like you talk about first impressions. You remember? I may have told it to your parents too.
That's one way to make one.
Yeah. My first impression was, what a bitch. and it was something that you said, but I can't remember. I just can't remember, and it's so funny because it doesn't really matter in the end. But somehow it was important to both of us. And was it about school, or was it about?
Know. You insulted me.
Oh, I'm sorry for doing
somehow,
that. I'm sorry for doing that.
And I was gonna defend myself, and I tripped you up.
That's why you say you knocked me off my feet. You literally did. That's pretty funny.
Did.
That's pretty funny. That's some funny stuff. Well, yeah. I don't doubt that I insulted you. It's not that I meant to do it in a way that was demeaning to, I suppose, you or women or whatever, but at the time I was pretty arrogant because I was coming off. So you have to understand, at the time, I was coming off a high of, and not just necessarily coming off, but growing into a lot of confidence in myself. You know, because I don't know whether you understand it. You really don't. But like My younger childhood and high school days were those of, um, well, let's just say they were um, not encouraging, and my future didn't look bright. Just to put it lightly, it did not look bright. If anybody, like you've heard, of, in the high school days that, classmates would elect, certain people, certain futures, right? Of, most expected to be, this or that or whatever. Well, I would have been the one that they would have elected to be, most likely, like, to, um,
Get arrested or something.
yeah, or worse, right? Just
Or
like
worse.
would not succeed in anything is probably the most likely thing. So when I worked through all of that, going through the service is really what saved me through all that. And once I did that, I built a certain amount of confidence through the help of my family and my brothers, and I watched them start to work their way through their trials and tribulations, and like, well, what if they can do it? I can do it. And so I finally made a decision, because when I went into the Navy, it was to become a Navy diver, but I wasn't guaranteed the school because my high school grades totally sucked. And but there was a progression through all of that I grew, and then I grew certain, at certain, I became more confident in myself, and the results don't lie. I mean, I increased in rank like faster than most people did, and with my crappy education, somehow I like just kind of figured it out. And then that gave me the confidence, and eventually that led me to, um, getting out. And then my dad, when I got out, suggested, well, before I got out, he suggested, well, uh, because he knew the success that the Lewandowskis had working, through the plastics industry, that he suggested that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, dang, I was open to that totally. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. That could be cool. That sounds good. Now, who would?
And I asked God to direct me, to tell me flat out what I was supposed to go into, because I couldn't figure it out by myself.
And when was?
And he told me plastics.
And when was that?
While I was in between, I dropped out of college, and I was in between Oakland and
Ferris.
Ferris.
Right.
I've been gone to Ferris. Previous, I was familiar with the school, but I didn't want to go back to college until I knew what I was going into. And God told me through a friend.
Through a friend?
Yeah, that I was supposed to go to Paris for the plastics curriculum.
So when was that?
2019.
No, it was 19.
90 something.
Think.
91 maybe? Or 90?
It sounds very close.
Or 80, 90, but I didn't know what to go into, and he told me plastics engineering through a friend of mine.
Well, how did that work? Through okay, before that, the nuclear engineering thing was at Oakland, right?
Oakland or Ferris.
Okay, so skip that. So what friend? Through you said through a friend.
Um,
How did that work?
maybe Kurt um or Steve had a buddy who went to Ferris and made little footballs, and
Hmm,
I went so I could make the little footballs too.
I remember those. 90, 91, right? Because at the time, so when I got out of the Navy, that was 89. And that was, my dad suggested that. So, I made the calls and they were like, so Ferris told me that there's a 2-year waiting list. So, yeah, you come along, of course, and, spend your money there. And then after 2 years, you'll get into the plastics program. I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks. Put me on the list, but I'll do the prereqs, outside of Ferris, and then transfer. And I worked all that through. They were very accommodating. I worked it through their emissions program and the counselors and whatever. And then I so
And
that
I
was
went
89, 90, so 89, 90, 91. So basically I started there, I think, in 90 and 91, and then so I did 91, 92. So it was, my God, that's crazy. Yeah. So then I remember when we met, and then that first meeting. So the funny thing about it is that when that happened, and it's so funny that we both remember that, and it's very special that given your condition that you remember that, and that's I really appreciate that you remember that. And what happened to me when that happened was, what went through my mind was like I said, the words that came to mind was like what a bitch. And then, like, within like 3 seconds, something came into my head, like words. And the words were, yeah, but wouldn't it be crazy if you two became lovers? And I interpreted that immediately to mean, like, man and wife, like you became married and had a family and all that. So, like, it immediately opened my heart to, hey, uh, you know she could be one.
I certainly had the get up and go and or stop right now.
What do you mean?
As far as the relation, get up and go. Proceed with the relationship and stop right now. Don't give me no grief. Um, take it as it is, as it comes. Um,
In other words, you were willing to potentially date.
Potentially, yeah.
Hmm.
And I didn't know what was gonna come of it, and I didn't care at the time. I wasn't looking too far ahead, so I didn't get any messages, and either I didn't recognize them,
Right.
and I just played it by ear and went with it, and
Yeah. Yeah. And so you fast forward. I think it was between maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, where that episode happened, where we had to be paired together. We were paired together. It was maybe
uh,
within the week or the next week.
It was afterwards, that's all I remember. We were paired together
Yep.
and we hit it off and never looked back.
Yeah, remember we had to, because we did the lab together, and then that meant that we had to do, after the lab, we had to do the write-up, and we got together. And remember, you came back to, so we did the write-up together in my room at the house on Woodward. Remember?
No.
No? Remember the blue house?
I remember the house, I don't remember the write-up.
Well, okay. We, for the record, it was just a write-up. We didn't do anything there. That's not what she's saying. Okay. So yeah, so we worked on the lab report is basically what it was. We did a lab report, the write-up, in my room at the house, and and then and then when we were done, I asked you to dinner. Remember that?
No.
No? Well, that's how it all started. I asked you to dinner. I was, I guess, I was attracted and thought, it'd be
I
nice to.
behaved myself.
Well, I guess. I mean,
I behaved
so
myself
it all started there.
and that's why you were attracted. Because I remember I was on my best behavior.
Why do you remember that?
I don't know, I remember that. All I remember is I was on good
Well,
behavior.
what would that matter?
I don't know. Because I liked you. And, the time in the library and the
Did you feel bad
time
about that or
we
something, or?
spent together in the lab.
Mhm.
I don't know if I felt bad about that or what, but I was on good behavior and I wanted to keep going,
Mhm.
and so we did, and we got married. You broke up with me for a while,
Yeah,
and
like what, 4 days?
it was enough to make me cry, and I didn't want to be happy without you. It was enough to make me come around.
Well, that wasn't my intent.
Well, that's the way it
Come
happened.
around. Come around to what?
Come around to I wanted you in my life for eternity.
Well, I don't know what I was doing at that point. I definitely. I mean, it's not like it was intentional on my end because I
You wanted me to other people,
maybe. I
and
mean, that I didn't know what I wanted at the
you
time. I wasn't sure.
you
I wasn't sure that
wanted
that we were meant to be together. I think is how that played out in my heart. And so it was also heartbreaking because I knew.
played out in mine that I wanted you, and I wasn't going to be happy
So
without you.
did you happen to at that point did you happen to like reach out to God about that whole part?
I don't
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
But God works in mysterious ways. God knows before we do what we want, what we need.
Mhm.
and maybe he saw that and
Well,
us
not
back
then. I didn't.
together for forever.
Yeah. No, when you're young,
Maybe he
you can't
saw
see that.
that and he brought us back.
Hmm.
We didn't see it, but he did.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember when? Do you remember when your mom came to visit right before Halloween? And remember, because you were at the house. Remember the lady that you rented the house from? What was her name?
Start with a W. Westmore or Whitmore or
Yeah,
something.
you're on the right path. Yeah. So yeah, you rented that room, and that was, and then so one of your roommates was one of the girls that was in our
Sydney.
Sid. That's it, right? And that was just down the road. That was like a not even it's like a block and a half or something off of. I think it was Division. So I was on Woodward and Division. So you go down Division. I think that would have been south. And then, because remember, found the room, and convinced you to get out of dormitory because it was actually cheaper, and then we got you that room, and it was right down the street, and so shortly after that, and it was right around Halloween. So this is obviously had to have been 91, I guess. And I will never forget it. It was it's right around Halloween, and you decided to get a pumpkin to carve it. This was at the time where you were still aggravated with your mom and dad, or for whatever reason you had like still frustrations. I think whatever, however you want to call
Growing
it.
pains.
Huh?
Growing
Yeah.
pains.
So there was still a little animosity there between your mom and your dad, but definitely with your mom, because it was evident because when she came by, bless the mother, I remember we were in the kitchen. I don't know whether you remember this or not, but this always sticks in my in my head because and I don't remember what we did after. If she took us out to dinner, she probably did, but she came up for the day. Because from Detroit, Ferris is only like 3 hours, right? So
34,
yeah, it was
depending on how you go in the traffic and
yeah. So she
stuff.
came out, but she didn't stay the night. She left, right? So she came out for the day, and so she got there around lunchtime, and we were there in that kitchen of that house, just down the street from where I stayed, and so you were pumpkin carving, right? And so your mom would ask certain questions, and they would aggravate. Everyone was like aggravating you, like a little jab in the back. I could tell you were aggravated, and I was like, oh God, how can I make this situation like lighter? Every time she asked a question, you're carving into the pumpkin, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. And an hour later, I'm looking at a pumpkin that is like the most spookiest and most like best artistic work of a pumpkin I could have ever imagined. But I only noticed after it was lit up. I'm like, what the heck did you do to that pumpkin? I don't understand it. What kind of carving is that? But then once it was lit up, I'm like, oh my God, that is awesome. It was like this backwards glowing, ghostly, ghastly, dark, like image that came from the frustrations of some child. It was like, and And at the time, your mom was watching you as you're carving this pumpkin, and your like her expression in her eyes were like they were like like, oh my God, what is my child going through?
I was.
You don't remember that at all, do
No,
you?
I don't
No, because
remember
it's
it.
from a different perspective. But it's one thing that's stuck in my mind and will be in perpetuity. It's like, God. And I'll never forget, I thought that was like the best pumpkin almost like pretty much ever because of the way that you did it. It was like this artistic thing. And you were trying to explain that to me too. Like it's like I got a plan, right? You can't understand it until it's lit up, I think is kind of what you were trying to tell me. And I didn't until I saw it lit up. I'm like, oh, now I get it. God, that is awesome. But at the same time, it the way that you were digging into it and everything, it just seems like you were trying to. I don't want to say Lizzie Borden, but you know, it was you were getting some frustrations out there.
I
You
may
don't
have
remember that
been-
at all?
No.
Oh my God.
I may have been getting out frustrations. I had a lot of problems with school. And,
Well, you had at the
I
time you were
was
still
working a lot.
getting over a revolt with your mom and dad, right? You have to recognize that.
No, I
Yeah.
don't remember it.
Okay. All right. Well, you were. You were.
I was going through some tough classes, and I was taking my aggressions out on pumpkin, sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I did a good job with the pumpkin.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah.
Is what it sounds like. I don't remember the pumpkin at all, but it sounds like something I would do.
So, what else do you remember about those days at school? More memories.
I don't remember.
Oh, come on, honey.
much.
Come on.
It's just that we didn't allow boys to stay the night in her house.
Right. That's right.
And,
That's true. Yep.
They kept us on the straw.
Yeah.
That
That was the perfect house
Yeah.
for you. You know, it was cheaper competitive rent, if you will. I remember my rent, and your rent was probably not that far, and unlike my rent. I remember writing checks. I think it was for about $130 a month for the room, which included obviously the shower, but a closet kitchen. So it included a kitchen. $130 a month, man. And yours was not unlike that. I'm pretty sure it was kind of competitive. And we were in a neighborhood that was not the party neighborhood. It was more a family neighborhood, which made it even better. You know, it wasn't the
Yep.
whole frat freaking neighborhood bull crap.
Yep.
Yeah. It was on
It
the
was
south
quiet
side
and
of
studious.
Yep, it was on the south side of State Street, and so it was outside of campus. But at the same point, we could walk, and we did together. We walked to classes together. We did. We walked to classes together through the snow, and remember, it's snowing. It's snowing.
Yep. We had the logs down pat.
Oh, that's another thing. Remember we used to do the walks through the little forest area?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Yes.
Remember that? Oh God, I love those.
There was a streamer river, which is probably why I like water so much. And we had our walks
Yeah, I
to
really
school
I
and
I
through
I cherish those walks through the um, through the
woods.
woods. Yeah, God, that was fun. That's probably what started my appreciation for. I mean, because I mean, I always loved trees and woods and stuff, but somehow I don't know. Maybe that started it all. Uh, Even after the fact, it just kind of got us into nature and got us outside and got we were together and that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice. It was relaxing and at the same time it allowed us to go together as opposed to apart.
Not only that, it's a break from studying and doing homework and stuff like that. So, uh, it was a good break in getting out and being a little bit physical, walking or whatever. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm. It allowed us to unwind and grow closer at the same time.
right. Do you remember? So, I'm pretty sure you remember this, and I'd be surprised if you didn't. Uh, so, remember we used to go out and get ice cream? Remember that place off of C Street? We'd walk down and we'd get the ice cream. We'd always get it there whenever we did.
I
And
don't remember the name of the
oh, I
place.
don't either. I don't either. And it may not still be there. I don't. It probably maybe it is. I don't know. But it was maybe I'm thinking maybe it was a 15-minute walk or something like that. Maybe 20-minute walk to get there. Not far. Remember what I did one time?
No.
You don't remember? So
I
we got our
don't remember
cones,
the ice cream.
huh?
I don't remember the ice cream parlor at all.
Okay. So what happened one time was we got our ice cream cones and we're walking back, and uh, I I played a trick on you. I said, "Hey, you want a lick of my ice cream? It's really good." So you're like, "Yeah, let me try it," and then I shoved it into your nose. You got so mad at me.
And
You don't remember that?
I'm
Oh my
not
God, that was
surprised.
precious. Like, pow! Oh my God,
I'm
you got
not
you
surprised.
got sore at me. You were sore at me. I'm like, honey, come on. I'm just
I
kidding.
never liked gold.
Yeah, yeah. I put it
And ice
right
cream
into your
is
nose.
yeah, if it's cold and it's hard to clean up.
Yeah, I helped. I
Because
wiped it off and all of that, but you were kind of sore at me for maybe about 5 minutes, and then after that, I think you forgave me. Hmm.
that doesn't surprise me.
What else? What else from school? Hmm. Well, okay. I remember. I remember one. Remember in our statics class? Maybe you don't remember. So I remember
I
because we.
hated that class. It wouldn't be stressed if I can remember it.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I hated statics.
Yep. I helped you through it.
Yep.
And one of our tests, I remember because statics 1 I blew through like breeze. Statics 2 was harder for me for some reason. I think part of it is because I took on more of a load than I should have. and I just couldn't devote enough time to that. And but Statics 1 was a breeze for me because it was mostly trig stuff, so it was just easy. It just clicked with me. And at the time, for you, I think it had been a while before since you had exercised any trig stuff. So I had to, I worked through that with you. But I remember one time after a test I finished and you were still working on your test, and I wrote a little note that said I love you, and I almost at the same time when I was doing it, I'm like, shit, I hope he doesn't think I'm giving her answers or something like that. But I gave it to you and you looked at me and you had this big smile, and then at that point I'm like, oh man, I hope I didn't just cause her to lose focus on the test at the same time. You don't remember that?
No.
Really?
No.
Huh. Okay.
I hated statics. I'm not surprised I don't remember anything.
Okay, so let's back up then to even before we had the lab stuff that you and I were paired together. So okay, here's a good one. It was I think it was Mr. D's class. Remember Mr. D? Remember that guy?
It was his wife, I think, that got me selling Mary Kay.
No, that was a different guy. That was
Spears.
that was Spears. No, Mr. D was another guy that we both shared the class with. And the very first class, if you remember, he said, okay, everybody, we're going to take turns. Everybody, introduce yourself, tell everybody where you're from. And that was it, right? And so we went on from person to person to person. And so I spoke before you did, probably about maybe 8 persons before you did, and I said, yeah, I'm Matt Schulte, and my claim to fame is I was born in Detroit and I'm still alive to talk about it. It's something like that. And then when it came to you, you kind of trumped me. You just, without even saying as much, you just said basically that, you're Donna Warriors, and I live in Detroit, not lived. I live in Detroit. Like, ooh. Okay. I guess I'll just sit down right now. It's kind of how I felt about the whole thing. I'm like, oh, geez, what a moron am I? Trying to, puff myself up to something bigger than I really am. You know what I mean? Because I at the time, I kind of felt like, looking back, like, okay, does she think I'm a complete freaking whatever for trying to claim that I'm somebody that I'm not, God, never forget that. You don't remember that, do you? Well, obviously that didn't make an impression on you.
I was, I grew up in Detroit. I lived in Detroit. I partied in Detroit. Detroit wasn't any big deal to me. So, if anything, somebody else claiming to be from Detroit was similar. So, somebody else who made
The claim or whatever.
the claim, the journey.
Just another neighbor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another neighbor. somebody who knows what I'm talking about.
How crazy is it
And
that
somebody who knows, who understands it and gets it. Because I grew
yeah,
up
I
in
didn't get
Detroit as well.
it. I grew up in Detroit. I grew up in a kind of a pretty sweet neighborhood. Pretty sweet neighborhood. I know I've taken you there before, whether you remember it or not, and it's still a sweet neighborhood today. Uh, it's not the Detroit that you grew up in, for sure. Your Detroit was different from my Detroit. Uh, I think, just trying to make light of Detroit when I mentioned that, because there was people that came from different parts of Metro Detroit and even other areas and even out of state, some, if you remember, but like Paul Gronzarowski, remember? He came from Indiana, and anyway, it was kind of a man. It was really a special time, not only because how we met, but just because, I mean, that campus was beautiful, that area was beautiful. Remember how it would, like, so that area is not like Metro Detroit where you get all this overcast for so many months. That's the area of Michigan where storms would come and go, and then bam, you're back to blue skies, just because of where it is. And so
We
you
had
get,
a lot more blue sky back then than we have now.
well, you can't.
Especially, it's like winter is 6 and 9 months of cold, dark cloudiness.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. During our time, it was, storms would come, they go, and then bam, you blue sky, set off on snow-covered pine trees, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. It was a pretty special time. And then, we would walk, you know, to our classes, and man, that was cool. That was cool. That was our youth. That was our youth, and we were, you know, courting each other at the
I
time.
was too blind to see the beauty around me. I was,
No, I wouldn't say that.
I would. I was too blind to see the beauty around me. I was starstruck, probably, by the beauty walking next to me, which was you, and the beauty of attending classes and getting a degree.
Hmm.
There was my beauty. I grew up in Detroit. I didn't know beauty existed in that realm. But by the time we graduated, I was of the opinion that I didn't want to give it up, so we ended up here.
How did you feel? I never even considered this until now, ever. When I graduated, now we were still dating and very, like, closely bonded in terms of dating, like together. We were together. Um, and when I graduated, remember I got the job down in Indiana,
Uh-huh.
and I moved there, but you were still in school. You had like another
Year ago.
semester or semester and a half or something like that. How
Another
did
year to go.
how did that? What did you feel? How did that make you feel when you had to have felt that emptiness or something? How did that make you feel?
I was determined to keep the relationship going, and I didn't waste time feeling that we were separated by miles.
Mm-hmm.
I just made the best of it and left
I think we would
and
call.
went
We
down.
would call each other, right?
I went down on weekends and visited you in your apartment
Mm-hmm. Sometimes. Yep. Yep. And then I
sometimes.
remember one time. Remember that one time in the winter when oh my God, that was it was probably could have been the worst weekend ever to travel. There was a snowstorm, and I was in that T-Bird, my new T-Bird, and it was just I'm sliding all over the place. It was dangerous. And but I went up there, so that was probably a good 3 hour drive, but in that snow, it was horrible. It was much longer. But I made it up there, and yeah, uh, made the trip to see you, and which is interesting because, like you said, the your landlord was the same landlord. You didn't move. You stayed there the whole time. Somehow, I think we snuck it. I think we snuck it. Is
Either
what we
we
did.
snuck it or you
I didn't stay anywhere else.
said, yeah, it the people that you stayed with,
Oh, do you think
I think
they offered me that?
yeah,
That might
you
have been. Now
slept
that you
on
say
their
it,
sofa
they
and
gave me a
watched your
room. Maybe.
kids.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember now, but I
You
think
slept on their sofa and you watched your kids while they went out on Saturday night
that may have been.
because that was the trade-off.
Hmm. Hmm.
You got to watch your kids
And I got to stay there.
and stay there
Yeah,
on
maybe.
their sofa.
Maybe. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Do you remember the name of the place that we went to dinner a couple times for sure? Probably 3, maybe 4 times. That was. Uh, so you remember as you came in from 131 and you came into Big Rapids, that road, right? And then there was you dead-ended on State Street. If you took a right, just a little bit um, heading that way on the right was a restaurant that we went to every now and then, more in the beginning of our relationship. What was that place? Do you
I
remember?
don't remember.
It was it was kind of a big place, wasn't it? Remember that?
I don't remember it.
Hmm.
I remember going to Mulligan's for dinner.
Schuberg's.
Schuberg's.
Mulligan's. That was the place. It was Mulligan's. I'm pretty sure it was Mulligan's. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the place. Pretty sure it was Mulligan's.
I remember.
Dang, you remember that.
Mulligan's.
That's awesome. Huh.
That's alright. I don't remember. I've never been good with names. And I don't remember the names of most of the people that I went to school with.
What do you remember? So after I graduated, you remember you went to SPE down in you did that thing down in
New Orleans.
mm-hmm. Yeah. How was that?
I don't know. How was it supposed to be? It was a.
Well, it's New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is a total party.
We went there and I didn't see it that way. I saw there's a bunch of people getting drunk
Yeah. Well, that's what I
and
mean. Yeah.
and partying in the street and stuff.
Mhm.
But I was not interested in all that stuff. I was more interested in, I don't know,
But uh, you did mosey around the town a little bit. Anything
a little
interesting
bit.
that you remember?
I'm mostly in the French Quarter and where all the people that I knew were, um, and that I went to school with were, and they were having a good time.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I just stayed and kept to myself and almost isolated down there. I went on tour, a steamboat tour,
You did?
yeah,
Dang it.
and
How come I
saw
don't
a
know this stuff?
plantation,
This is why I'm having this conversation with you.
and
You went on a steamboat
Spanish
tour.
Yeah, I think it was
Maybe
a
you told me this and I
steamboat.
just don't remember. You probably did. I guess I just don't remember.
Probably did, and why should you remember it? I said you? It was just something that somebody else did. I got to see a couple of plantations from the river. And that was my first view of Spanish moss
Coming off the trees.
coming off the trees.
Yeah. 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 It's cool.
And I never knew what Spanish moss was or why it was so popular until I saw it for myself.
Yeah, that's a whole it's all over the South. Yep.
Yeah, well, you can't appreciate it unless you know it,
Unless you see it.
unless you see it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the cherry blossoms in Washington. You can't know it unless you see it.
Mhm.
And I've never been to Washington, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know that I can't begin to describe it. That's all I know about the cherry blossoms in Washington.
So next conversation we'll have will be moving forward from this point after you graduated and like leading up to.
I lived at home with my parents and planned a wedding. I think that I got it was Christmas time and we were at your grandma Dan's house.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma and Grandpa Dan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you had the Cinderella booth and you
I had what?
proposed you had the Cinderella glass slipper type of shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that was because somehow you had a
I liked Cinderella
in the story.
at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you proposed in front of your whole parents and
Yeah, that was around Christmas. Remember we were there and we spent the weekend there? Oh my God, that was so special. God, if I could live that over again, oh, that was so cool. We were there for I don't want to say the weekend. I mean, we were there. Yeah, the weekend. We were there for the weekend. God, that was just God. I love not only just because I love that place, just because everything came together and it just became so special. It was just. I mean, we did spend the night there, right?
I don't
Yeah, I'm
remember.
pretty sure we spent the night there. It was just great. Yeah.
To me, it didn't matter where we were. Paris or your grandparents or anywhere else. It didn't matter where we were. As long as we were together, I was happy.
Yeah. I remember that so as soon as I started the proposal, all of a sudden, I don't know whether my dad was scoping me out the whole time, maybe because he knew what was going on beforehand, and maybe, probably did. I never talked to him about it, actually. So technically, I think it was a surprise. It was a surprise on well, when I say surprise, they kind of knew. I think that we were
It
headed that.
was no
Yeah,
surprise, but
we were
it
headed
was
that
a
way. But
surprise.
it's just a matter of when, right? And so as soon as I started the whole thing, all of a sudden my dad's on the camera. He was on the camera, and he was taking pictures. That this was before videos and stuff like that, but he was taking pictures. So he's on the camera right away, and documented it all. And then the other thing that was crazy was I never forget my grandpa on the stairs.
I didn't let you finish the proposal. I wrapped my arms around you and I
Yeah,
said yes.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And I didn't let you finish proposing.
I don't remember that. I don't remember
And
that.
you asked me a few times. I don't remember what you said.
Well, what I said.
During the proposal. But my answer I remember, and that was a resounding yes.
Yeah. And after that, uh, so what I said was that it was basically you, the last part of it was you have meant more to
I
me.
recorded it somewhere. I think it might be in the bottom of the clock. When Matt proposed, he said this, and I wrote it down. And I think that I put it in the bottom of the clock.
Okay.
And so that I wouldn't remember and maybe say you would remember it a long time later. Tonight, if you will. But it was precious and it was sweet news, tender,
Yeah.
and I couldn't resist. I said yes before I let you finish your proposal.
And then you probably don't remember this, but my grandpa is sitting on the stairs. So Grandpa Dan, he's sitting on the stairs. Do you remember the layout of the house and where we were? So we were on the couch.
I remember we were downstairs.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
a split level.
Yeah, it was a quad,
Or
but
something,
yep.
but
So we're down there, and then he's just on the stairs, and after I did that, what comes out of his mouth is something like what did he say? He said he said well, like welcome to hell with the rest of us or something like that. I'm like, Grandpa.
Your grandpa doted on your grandma.
Oh, he totally did. He totally
and
did. And
that was obvious.
it totally was. It always was. And but at the time, you know, I kind of took it at heart, like you know, God, you know, are you really? Do you really mean that, or you know, do you know?
He meant it from a point of view
I think so. Yeah.
of always loving her too much, Grandma Dan, and always finding a way for her and stuff like that. That's what he meant by welcome.
Like what marriage is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't understand that at the time. It's just his way of expressing it, I suppose. But it was like, and I remember I was saying, Grandpa, come here. This is supposed to be a happy time.
Running around showing everybody.
Oh gosh.
My ring.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, so leading up into that, then the next conversation will be from that point forward on how we started our lives. You know, the wedding and stuff like that. So think about that, and then we'll talk through that about the lead up to the wedding, and if anything that you can remember and stuff that we did.
I remember we were in the basement when my mom and I were sewing beads onto the wedding gown.
So we'll leave that to next conversation.
Okay.
That's precious.
Well,
Oh wait.
correct.
Precious. September 7th, 2024. Here, let me turn this on. Wanted to have another conversation. So before I asked you the question about how you felt about growing up and you and your parents, Celia just visited, and then they're coming back in a couple weeks. How'd you feel about Celia's visit?
It was helpful, needed, and opportune.
It was helpful and what?
Needed.
And needed, yeah. Yep.
And opportune.
And opportune. Was there anything in particular that you appreciated or liked about her visit?
I just like being able to visit and talk to her.
Mm-hmm. We talked.
And then
Oh, go ahead.
makes all the difference between whether her visit pleasure and she helped.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely. Yep. You didn't know this, but when we were planning, when she was talking about coming out, she's like, I can spend, as much time as you want. And the crazy part about it is when she did that, like last Thanksgiving, she was here for 2 weeks, and after she left, she did so much, like she did everything, and I'm after the fact, when she left, the floor dropped out, and it was this huge, like, awakening back to reality. It was really hard on me because I didn't have to do anything for that long. And so this time around, I'm like, no, I'm thinking maybe the better idea is we split it. You spend a couple days, you go up north, and then you come back for a couple days, and I'm thinking that's probably the better way. But you didn't know that backstory. But I decided that that was the better way to go, and I'm thinking that that's a wise decision. But anyway, she would have done weeks upon end to help us, to help me, to help you, and but so we're looking forward to her coming back with Jim, and uh, and then
I don't want to wear her out.
I know, nor do I, nor do I. She I don't know, she seems to have the energy to do it, and
She's got a bad back too.
yep,
And I don't want to make it.
no, I know,
And I don't want to make Jim worse
yeah.
by having him help.
By what?
Having him help.
By having him help. I was thinking about something that Celia and I were talking about after we put you to bed on one of those nights, and now I've kind of lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
That's okay. Can't think of it now. Oh, now I know. This is important because in so many words, I kind of asked her. I can't really remember how I asked it, but kind of asked her in a way that her response was that this question must have been like, so after you pass, like how are you gonna, like, what's gonna make you like immediately sad? And her comment was that she would miss talking to you on the phone.
She calls regularly.
Yeah, she
And I get to talk to her
yeah,
regularly. And yeah, I can understand. I'll miss her too.
So just wanted to make sure you knew that she's gonna miss talking to you, as well as probably your whole family and all your friends, of course. But yeah, she's made it a point to reach out to you weekly, if not several times a week. And so that's when I asked her that question. That's her answer. So she really likes and enjoys talking to you.
I'm surprised she can understand anything.
Yeah, well,
Because I don't talk clearly.
a lot of us have come to be able to adapt to that. But lately, you're speaking clearly now, but lately it's really become very challenging to understand what you're saying. So as this goes on, it's going to become hand signals and almost back to infancy stage where you kind of, and I've been doing this for a while, where I kind of know during the time of day what your needs are, as you remember being a mother, and how children have certain needs, and they have certain groans and grunts and cries that you pick up on and you learn, and you just know as a mother or parent at some point that your child needs this or that, and they're trying to say this or that, even though they can't communicate through English language or whatever language that you're talking about. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. But right now you seem to be able to, even though it's 6 p.m., really closely towards the end of your day, you're gonna have to go to bed soon. So I want to get back to what I was thinking about was how you felt, your memories about growing up. Anything that stands out, anything that made you happy or angry as you were growing up, that your mom and dad might want to hear and reminisce on.
and Joanne, we shared a bedroom. And
Who?
all of us girls shared the upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was special because we help each other out and be there for each other.
Yeah. Would you guys just share stories about your frustrations and that just all kinds of things growing up? That when you say that you were there to share stories and support each other, is that like, do you mean that in a way where when somebody was upset or hurt or whatever?
Pains of girls.
Huh?
Growing pains of girls.
Growing pains of girls. Okay. Usually, did that happen usually like at night when you guys were up to go to bed?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because we would get up at times in the morning. Liz would sleep at home. But Sally and I got up a little earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go and get out of them so we didn't wake Liz up and we just kept it away. And I hurt Celia getting in her wrist that hopefully gangling towards year around. She didn't complain about it, so I never heard her or she did.
So this, I'm not quite understanding what you're saying. There was something that went on. This sounds like a specific event.
Ganglion.
Ganglion? What's that?
A bundle of nerves.
Who had that?
Celia.
Oh. A bundle of nerves. Like being stressed out somehow?
In her wrist.
In what?
Her wrist.
In her wrist. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. You seem to be the one that was bulletproof until a few years ago.
Yeah, I was.
Right?
I was.
Yeah. Till a few years ago. Yep.
God kept me safe.
Yeah. What else do you remember? You know, holidays, friends and family, you know, your aunts and uncles,
Holidays.
your cousins and stuff. So go holidays. Okay, so how about holidays?
That we were not particularly over zealous about holidays. We took them in stride.
Did them in stride?
Yeah.
So when you say not overzealous, what do you mean by that? Why would you say that?
We didn't leave the holidays to change. We didn't overreact to them, and we didn't overreact to each other.
So you gave the holidays their due, respect.
Yeah.
But you didn't go overboard. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
We made the the ornament for Christmas one year was more fun and more impressive, more significant than anything I could have been by the store because of the time and love and
Making them?
making them,
Yeah.
painting them, Gotcha.
So the ornaments on the tree that she made? The ornaments on the tree.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of like how, like when we put up our tree, there's old ornaments that I made as a kid, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there one in particular or a couple in particular you can remember?
She made reindeer and
Reindeer?
stuff. And like a paper mache tattoo. Baking printed them.
Wait. Back up. I didn't get that. Reindeer and what?
Reindeer and stuff.
Okay.
Santa.
Sun, what?
Santa
Oh, Santa. Okay.
hats.
Santa what? Hats?
And
Santa hats. Santa hats. Yes? Okay. Huh.
we will. But because yeah. Every time it's on the it's
Our ornaments?
uh-huh.
Ah, yeah. Huh.
And she got the manger said because I heard earlier and then just on that some that she knew I didn't have. So she got me the manger and the mints and I was able to complete my Christmas.
Hmm. You were able to complete your Christmas because she did the angels and ornaments and the.
She got me the angels and completed Christmas for me.
That was that a gift to you? Oh God. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did she like so she did she make those and then give them to you? She bought
I
them?
don't think so, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But she still has always been a bigger part of my life than she let on, I think, and more than she knew.
Well, that's interesting because when we met and we were dating and when I was courting you, you two were in conflict. I don't know why. I never really knew why. I didn't I didn't think it was my place to figure out why. I just it just wasn't really a factor for me. It just didn't really matter. It was kind of sad that a little bit that you were in conflict only because I never really understood that with my side of the family and my brothers at the time growing up. It didn't really happen that way. Um,
I
so
don't remember that.
no, yeah. For some reason there was a competition or conflict or whatever, and I don't know why. Um, but then after you and I married, um, that kind of changed through a kind of a gradual process, and then at some point, then it was a total change of like you guys were, you and her were maybe back to maybe your childhood, friendship. Um, so that's what I remember. Um, Anything about Vince and Liz that you remember that stands out?
No, I always looked up to them.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Just because they were your older siblings?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
things like Spain. He was
You liked what?
Spain.
To paint? Hmm.
He was a three-layered instrument or something. in a school talent show. So I did everything. I don't recall their effect on me now. Very significant.
Whatever he did in the talent shows and his paintings.
The fact that he was good just enough. And had talents that I didn't have. Kinda like it with him pinning. That's his how I don't have. I used to draw. That's the only thing I could draw was a puppy.
A puppy. What puppy did you draw?
Great Dane.
Huh?
A Great Dane.
A Great Dane. When did you do that?
When I was like at school.
Huh.
Or at the rest.
How do you think that turned out?
Okay. But I had to do it according to a book.
I used to love to draw trees, which was no wonder why I got so immersed in Bob Ross and why I was so attracted to his stuff. It was all nature, landscape, tons of trees. He loves trees. I used to love to draw trees as a 5-year-old or 6 or 7-year-old, and then I just kind of grew away from it.
You're so good at it.
Well, I have a good teacher, and it's not Bob. It is Bob, but it's beyond Bob. That stuff comes from our Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time I do my paintings, I say a prayer. Did I tell you that?
Every time I look at it, I think not for you to get a big head or anything, but I like.
Well, I understand because I like them. That's when I get the joy, is after when I get to look at them on the pedestal here and up on the wall. And I just, that it blows me away. Just only because I don't know whether I'm special or not, but I know I like my stuff. So
I like it up too.
well, that's
But then again, I'm partial.
Yeah, you're partial.
So I'm not a good judge.
But I've told you this before, my big painting, you have to reach out to me after you've gone to tell me. You have to give me secrets. Unless you're not allowed. If you're not allowed, that's fine. God has already given me a lot of the vision. He's given me all of it. But it would really help. If there's something that he's allowing you
When time comes, you will know.
I suppose. Yeah. Yep.
God wants you to draw. Hoping He will let you know. And He will give you the means.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That's good advice. What about your mom and dad? You haven't talked about them.
They raised me. They were always instilling values. And to think that I took most of the values and and I always appreciated them for the values that they gave me.
Even in the rebellious years?
even in the rebuild issues. When they had to keep me in line, they gone. News that they're still when I was here, and then much the trouble I got into.
Yeah, I can see that. Same with my parents. It was probably the constant guidance to hope for a course correction, right? You know, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't let up, and hopefully you don't nag. So it's that delicate balance that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, and they always knew not to go too far with me
Yeah.
and to let me grow up.
It's a tough thing to do as a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, we were lucky because, I mean, you know, our kids, you know, did not go to the outer reaches of, you know, the solar system like we did, like I did. I, God, I tested my parents. My God.
I knew we couldn't be trusted
Yeah,
that we would never survive.
yeah, exactly.
And so
You mean like the adage about God will only give you what you can deal with? You mean that?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. Uh, once a spaz, always a spaz, and that's me. But we were really lucky that we didn't get any more grief than we could handle for sure, and our kids didn't give us that.
I made enough mistakes and they were good kids. But I made enough mistakes raising them that I don't think with additional tests.
You mean gaining on your experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how parenting is. But beyond that, as they say, there's no playbook, there's no owner's manual, and you're just kind of winging it. And hopefully, you know, you do so in a way that's not harmful to your kids physically or mentally. But so you said your mom and dad, you appreciated the way that they raised you and were supportive and gave you your space. And you needed your space. I know. I saw some old photos of you before we met, and I was like, wow, yeah, that was kind of like me at that age. So
I was the wild one, and I liked it.
well, I think probably every one of you could say that they were the wild one in their own terms.
Yep.
But judging from the photo I'm thinking of, yeah, you were the wild one. It was a picture of you sitting on the couch, I think, and Joanne. Yeah, and you showed me this picture when we were at Ferris. And you had like green hair or something like that. I don't know. Right? Did you have like green hair at some point? You had blue hair or something like that. You had colored hair. And you were red. Maybe it was red. But you were heavier at the time. In the photo, you were heavier than when we met.
No.
Yeah.
I was always thin.
Well, it looked like you were heavier. I don't know.
It might have been the
Well, no, I'm just talking about like in your
of
face. In your face, it just looked
too
like you were heavier, like 10 or 15 pounds heavier. Like it's when you were at Ferris, you know, you were your typical whatever, 110, 115, 20, 25 pounds. And in the photo, it looked like, you know, you were like 10 or 15 pounds heavier. And the reason, excuse me, the reason I say that is because it was like so striking. It's like, wow, this is a little bit different from what I'm looking at right now. But that was, you know, back in the days when you were going to Harpo's and doing the dancing and stuff like that, right? You went to Harpo's, right?
Yeah,
To go and dance?
yeah.
Yeah.
Harpo's and Thomas Manor. And,
Thomas Manor? Where's that at? Or what was it at?
it was in Fresh. Just north of my
So all these places were
and
15 minutes from where you lived.
Ritz. Only 11 and a half in Gresham.
Okay. Well, 15, man, 20, 25 minutes, but pretty close from where you lived. Yeah.
This kept me out of trouble at the Ritz.
The Ritz. How'd she do
I
that?
think it was Ritz. She kept me from leaving with this and girl.
Hmm.
God knows what they would have done if I left with them.
You were thinking of leaving with them? Why?
Because I wanted to, and I always wanted to.
Wanted to what?
I don't know.
Wanted to just like,
Rebel.
hmm.
And
Hmm.
was coming there. And didn't let me go with them. It might have come me along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that might have been life or death. Don't know. Yeah, that sounds shady, doesn't it? Huh. And you were, what were you at that point? 17, 18. Okay.
18.
Yeah, that's frightening. That could have changed your whole life and my whole life.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
And since I was oblivious to anything bad that I respected
Yeah, it's a good thing because somebody would have died.
more than
He would have been pounding on somebody. I think so.
yep. Never wouldn't have
Been able
said
to.
a word to him about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything about your aunts and uncles or cousins?
No, I liked them all, and I was learning from them all, and I was learning Muslim stuff, and they teach me with all they could.
Just from conversations and experiences?
Conversation, experiences, playing,
Playing?
so,
I know, like when we were dating, that your grandfather died, and he was
one of those special persons to you, because your mom mentioned it to me that it was going to be hard on you. It was your grandfather, right? Yeah. That was probably, I think it was 1991 at some point. What was it about your grandfather that
I don't remember.
you don't remember? So among your aunts and uncles, who do you think that you felt closest to? Was it somebody that
All of them. If it uh, my godmother, she was Iraq.
so why do you say that?
She,
What does that mean?
I think she was, and did not
Mm-hmm.
anybody. How bad she was off.
The path?
Yeah, thank God.
The what?
The path to God.
The path of God? Is that what you said?
To God.
The path to God. Okay. So teaching. So showing as an example. Being an example. Yeah.
Uncle Larry was my godfather. He was the same way. He,
Get you in line. I don't see Uncle Larry keeping anybody in line other than through just his God-gifted, beautiful soul. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, but he was so sweet. Just like how you're so soft-spoken, like your dad. Like so soft-spoken, but just like you. Like they spoke so seldom, but when they spoke, it was, you just started to listen. Just like how you remember that happened at Tennessee with my dad. I want to hear Donna talk because you never did. You just allowed other people to take the stage, and you were so unassuming, and he kind of wanted to give you the stage.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember? So where were we?
We were talking about a song called Sunday of Heaven.
Do you remember where exactly we were?
We were in the house sometimes.
Where? Where? Do you remember?
In the sunroom.
In the sunroom. Very good. You remember that. Yep. We were all sitting down. Yep.
I was shocked.
You were shocked?
Somebody had wanted to hear from me.
Aw.
And it was unusual. And that's being told to sit down and be quiet ourselves to speak up.
Do you remember what you said? I don't either, unfortunately. All I remember is my dad saying, "I want to hear what Donna has to say," and that was his way of giving you your stage, and it was pretty cool. It was very poignant of him to do that, because the quiet ones need their stage from time to time, and when they have the opportunity, it's going to be something that's worth hearing, not somebody that just blabs on and on and on and is over opinionated, but someone that actually has value in their opinion. And and he knew that. My dad knew that.
And he was,
Yeah.
and he was old.
Oh yeah.
He is a,
He is a good soul. Yep.
and your mom and your grandma and grandpa. And I never met the grandparents.
You didn't. My
I'm
dad's
so
on my
sad.
dad's side. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't meet them. Yeah. They are great souls. Precious. Precious. Yeah. Walt and Christine. They're Matthew. Yeah. They're quite different from my mom's parents, but beautiful and the same. I was very fortunate.
Mm-hmm. And parents. Some parents abide their character. Have firmer backbones on girls.
Say that again.
Parents of boys have more backbone and are stricter than parents of girls.
Parents of boys versus parents of girls. So parents of boys have what?
They're stricter.
Stricter? Well, I don't really know.
They have more backbone.
I don't know about that. I can't comment either way on that because I grew up with boys and we have boys, so I have no frame of reference on that.
And I had girls. I had sisters. And I had a brother. And boys. And I saw your parents and grandparents, and I can say grandmothers and boys are more than meant to be.
I don't know. Your parents are among the toughest and equal, if not tougher, than my parents.
In some ways, my model.
I know. We put our.
Because they got a temper with
Mhm.
girls.
Yeah, it's a different temperament for sure. I don't know. My brother and I really put my mom and dad through things that they totally did not deserve being put through, and we all agree on that. Each of us in our own way, and they were so stalwart, just like your parents are. I could never have asked for better mom and dads-in-law than your mom and dad. This is like God given. It is God. That's why we were put together.
No, we were put together because before I was born, I was given a choice if it would be my husband, and I chose you.
Well, if that doesn't floor somebody, nothing will.
And I never looked back or regretted the decision, and I never had reason to, because you always been there for me, and you always helped me out. It was the best choice I had done before I was born, before I was considered even.
I don't know what to say. I understand that that's kind of how it works, is that you have a decision before you're even born. Because I've read that on how that works, where you even have the choice. Do you want to be born or not?
whether or not you're given the outlook of your life, I'm not sure that that takes place. But and
I don't know.
whether you have the choice of, who you're going to live with, I don't know. But I mean, that's pretty special if you feel that in your heart. It's devastating.
And I have never sick. I was looking at it being the right decision. And that was.
It's so funny how you turn the whole conversation around to us, and that's not what I was trying to do. It's probably a good way to end it, and I'm comfortable with that.
We had to go clear across the state to meet each other.
Yeah.
So we had to meet each other and get off it to doing it first.
September 13, 2024. You were mentioning earlier today, Donna, about you wanted to make a recording about your siblings, and you started with Vince.
Vince was battling demons in the night, and Liz could see angels out the window.
Could see what?
Angels.
Okay.
They were dancing. And Delia helps the poor, the sick, downtown Colorado. My parents trained us right.
So let's start then with Vince. Give a little bit more detail of what's important.
He woke up with a demon in his room, I think, and he battled it probably 8 there until I don't know, Soka, or it was more, but he battled the demon, and it's nighttime. Sorry. Angels dancing in the backyard. So, yeah.
Wait. Go back. In the backyard of what home?
Joanne,
Oh, Joanne.
I think. And really, down in Colorado, it feeds the poor and stuff. So she says that way.
Okay, so this morning, the Vince part you talked about a little bit. I didn't understand. I think I've heard that story before, but I'm trying to put it in context, and in terms of why it was important. Because you said that last night you were awoken in the night and you couldn't fall asleep because you were thinking about this stuff. Not unlike a lot of other people that has that stuff happen to them from time to time. But when I'm not sure that you have any more information about why you felt that was important from Vince's point, other than the fact that it took him to God.
Yeah, it took him. He followed God after that. Though not closely, and so as followed God but not closely. and I felt I did Celia an injustice in leaving her out. So I wanted to say everything Celia's done has been during the day, and we were conscious, and Vince dedicated his life to
Helping people.
helping people by being a paramedic. And so he knew my terminology, but his Stacy would get our parents, my parents,
I didn't get that last part.
my parents.
Yeah.
Vince is busy. Liz is on her own with Steve gone. And Celia has to tell her as she helps me.
But you said earlier too that you were appreciative of Liz giving her expertise on how she had to go through the process of getting.
Everybody's gone through something. Somehow Mom has had help there, and she had her shoulder. Vince battled demons. Liz went through the insurance with Steve, and then ended up in Alan's house. They loved Celia. Jim gave you insurance in one for retired bulk, and I wanted nobody to be left out, everybody to share with God and with each other, and let bygones
What?
let bygones be bygones,
Let bygones be. Okay. Okay.
and not to make little of it. Do caring for me every day, because I think you every night when I go to bed, but you're already gone out of the room. By the time I get to thank you for all you do for me.
Because
and you helped me out so much. But you don't like the thanks.
it's not like I don't like the thanks. It's because I can't take any.
In heaven, there's nothing bothering God a miracle to do it. And each of us have been called in different way to serve.
Yep.
And we do our best to serve. We are called, and we don't think twice about it. For some people, it's hard to play about their whole life. And I don't. They call it only their mom.
You don't what?
make light on me.
Of what?
Uh,
You don't make light of what?
short time.
Your short time?
A long time.
Okay.
So, I was serving God. However, we are called. I feel like I'm called to save people and you and my way to pray for them. That they'll be saved as well.
Safe as one? Is that what you said?
Saved
Saved
as well.
as well. Okay. Yep.
And they'll
9/13/2024. The conversation about if you were to be at Ron's or Luke's, what would you want to say? Now it depends. It depends because you already know Anastasia. But if Luke finds a wife, you don't know who she is. Although
can be true to yourself and your spouse.
although you can imagine.
Important.
But I want you to consider and put yourself in the future, and you're at the wedding, and you want to say something, or even before the wedding, you want to say something to both of them. We'll start with Ron and Anastasia. What do you want to say to both of them when you're at the wedding?
Hard work is important, but not as important as each other. Be true to the other one and treat the other one with love and respect always.
Where did you and I go wrong where somebody else could learn from our circumstances, from our...
Don't lock people up because
Don't what?
lock people up
Don't lock people up? Okay, what does that mean?
because I shot Luke in the bathroom and I think it has harmed him emotionally.
Why did you do that? Shut him in the bathroom? It was
Because
like punishment?
yeah.
Yeah. You mean like it wouldn't when he was a kid?
Yeah. For having a tantrum.
Okay.
And I think it mentally harmed him.
So are you saying like choose another way to punish?
Choose another way.
Or to correct?
Don't ever take yourself away from your kids.
Okay. In your opinion, how like if you were to do over, what would you have done then?
I don't know. That treated him with more love and respect
Okay.
than I did.
Somehow that's translated into another way. Okay.
I never made that mistake with Ron because it only took once.
So you learned
to
from it, in other
learn.
words. Yeah.
And I didn't want to make the mistake again. And I didn't.
Okay, so going back to the next question of, as they're adults now, what would you want to say if you were there at their weddings?
Congratulations. And always follow God. He doesn't mean a whole lot on earth. They will when you're getting ready and dying. And for all eternity and eternity, life and stuff is a mighty long time.
So congratulations, and I didn't really understand the last part of it.
Love God, to follow God for all eternity.
Okay. Love God and follow God for all of eternity. Trust in God.
Yep.
And if you had any advice on, as you go through marriage, what would that be?
Always ask God for specific advice and give him time to answer because he doesn't always answer right away. He's got to look at the different outcomes and the different options.
Different outcomes and different options. Okay.
So give him time to respond. And don't be surprised if that response comes in injury from friends or any other
Sources.
sources that you wouldn't necessarily have thought of.
So this is where Mom has trouble talking, but she's very clear, and there's a lot of clarity there. And she's talking about how God can speak to you through different sources, through your friends and family. And if your tuners are aligned, then it taps you on the shoulder and makes you aware of something important that you have to listen to. Is that right?
You'll listen if you are, but yeah, you will listen. And you'll be driven in that direction by the angels.
Okay, it's September 13th, 2024, and the conversation is about Mom's message to Luke and Ron when they have children, and her message to them and her advice when they have children. So collectively, this is more of a overspanced global piece of advice, because that's kind of how it goes if you have a family understanding on values that have been built on for generations, and our values are understood. And so Mom might have some advice on that.
Don't get a divorce, but always work it out because it'll take compromising.
Well, so
I suppose.
yeah, so she's saying don't get a divorce and figure out how to compromise. Now, if you had a daughter and there was an abusive relationship, that kind of changes stuff a little bit, right? If you
Yeah.
think about it, if you had a daughter and she was being abused, that wouldn't really be the same, right? So it kind of matters.
Yeah.
But we have sons. And I'm pretty sure our sons are not going to be like abusing people. But if they were abused, which is kind of a totally different context on how we're brought up, and it's hard for us to understand how a male could be abused by a female, but it is possible mentally. There's mental abusement, and so
It's hard to think about abuse of any person against any other person.
yeah, especially if you've come from a family that doesn't have any abuse. I do, but I come from a family that's really, I mean, there was no abuse, really, except for sibling rivalry, and that's just natural.
Tell the abuser to stop, and
Tell the abuser to stop.
give them time
Give them time
to stop.
to consider and stop. Yeah,
You
that's
might need to tell them how to handle it better.
hmm
So be prepared to offer advice.
You know what? That's a great segue into maybe the last part of this, and that is what we went through, struggling with stress and anger issues, and you were the one that initiated the family counseling, and that made the whole difference in our whole lives, to the point where maybe I can't even imagine, but I'm imagining it right now because I'm living it, and I can see it. And I know Luke and Ron know that, and I know that, and you know that. But for other people, when things get tough, and you're the one that called that whole thing up, you were the one that intervened. And that is really, really special. And I'll cherish that as long as I live. It's pretty cool, because it allowed all of us to have our own voice. And there, sometimes I've heard other people going to professionals like that, family counseling and stuff, and they didn't get anything out of it, and it was negative. But we had some positive experiences with that, and so my advice is to spend the time and the money, because it's cheap. That was the most inexpensive amount of time and money. Because one thing, as I came to understand in the early days, that especially when we went out to, because there were two different sessions, right? We went up to Port Huron or wherever it was, and then we went out to Rochester. So the first time wasn't as effective for all of us collectively. it was effective for some of us maybe, but not collectively. And then the second time, so it was kind of like a building thing. And then the second time we had to go all the way out to Rochester, right? So it was 45-minute drive. And I remember at first, you're nodding, we're all fighting and kicking. This sucks. Hate this. This is a Saturday. And so it took a few weeks, and then finally we started to get into a groove where, at least the way I experienced it, I mean, I really cherished those. I'm going to say, I don't know if it was 12 weeks. I'm going to say it was no more than 12 weeks. And I almost cherished that time because it was time that we were together. And then you remember when Luke split off and he had his own counselor, and then like within 2 weeks, man, it was like, I don't know what that guy said, but somehow Luke changed, and he understood a different way of thinking that that also helped. And those people should be worth millions, because they're worth millions to me and us. And I almost felt sad when we were done with it, because it was like, it was that time when we got to go out together. And afterwards, did we get lunch or whatever at some point?
We would generally turn it into a DSW or Costco.
Yeah, so it definitely turned out into a day, but definitely we were kicking and screaming in the early days, and then afterwards, it transformed our lives. And so I think the thing to be passed down is that don't be afraid to get counseling, and you can take it or leave it. If you don't really like what you hear and it doesn't make sense, then try another one, and try another one, and try another one, and try another one. Eventually, I mean, I think we got totally lucky with one or two, and they were extraordinary. But just, don't throw away somebody's guidance without trying somebody else's guidance. And then try it again and again and again.
Yep, I agree. Because you won't always get it the first time, but every time can help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we got it completely the first time, but I think we got it completely the second time. And I have to think that there's a lot of people that get much farther than that, and they're wondering, I'm still not getting it. And we were lucky. Somehow we had the right people, and you chalk that up, whatever you think about it, however, but we were given the right people, and it was a stepping process for sure. And the first time to the second time, I mean, that wasn't like, okay, like we're going to do this for 3 weeks, and then on the fourth week, no, this isn't working. The fifth week, we're going to go to someone else. There was a time span in between. The first group of counseling to the second, that was like, I don't know, a year or something like that. Might have been more.
Yeah,
I think it was more.
probably.
Because we kind of settled things a little bit, but not completely. And then because, as kids grow older, the different issues happen, and you may have resolved certain issues, but then other issues pop up, and you're not prepared, and you don't really know how to handle them. And God, next thing you know, you got chaos, and you're just not really prepared. And then you just kind of need more guidance, and you need your kids to be able to speak up freely to someone else other than yourself sometimes. Hopefully they can speak up to you all the times. But that might not be the case. That they just need somebody else to talk to. And if they don't have aunts and uncles at the ready, or, you know, whatever. I mean, friends are one thing, but sometimes I think kids look up to adults who are very calm, and they're detached from the family unit, and they can ask questions in a certain way that are non-defensive, and you know, without that kind of conflict. And I think they do it in a way it's so professional that the person can unmount themselves from, you know, the position of being on the defensive to really take note of, okay, and they can think through the anger and all of that in a way where, you know, humans were kind of meant to do so, to kind of think conflict through. And so there's tons of value in that professional help. If you guys ever need to go there, believe me, it is so much worth your time. So much worth your time.
And money.
What?
And money.
And many? And money, yeah. Yeah. Because there's a lot of money you're going to dish out with the other avenues. I'm just going to say it that way. A lot more money, and your soul. So that's it.